नमस्कार। आज हम वर्ड पोइट्री मूवमेंट की तरफ से एक वैश्विक कविता पाठ लेकर आए हैं, उपस्थित हुए हैं। और उसका एक कारण है कि हम वैश्विक नागरिक होने के नाते ये जो अफ्रीकन देशों के में जो समस्याएं हैं, वहाँ पर जो तख्ता पलट हो रहे हैं, वहाँ के लोगों की जो समस्या है, जो सदियों से चली आ रही है और जो अभी तक नहीं ठीक हो रही है, उन सब को साथ में हम उन सब की आवाज लेकर हम उपस्थित हुए हैं। हमारा ये जो कार्यक्रम है वो उपनिवेशवाद के खिलाफ है और हम इसके साथ में भारत में कम से कम 8 कार्यक्रम कर रहे हैं, 8 पोइट्री रीडिंग कर रहे हैं और हर प्रांत की एक-एक रीडिंग कर रहे हैं। आज हम ओडिशा के साथ में आए हैं। या उड़िया भाषा बहुत ही समृद्ध और बहुत ही पुरानी भाषा है और इस भाषा में यहाँ के मूर्धन्य कवि हमारे साथ उपलब्ध हुए हैं। अफ्रीका की समस्या हम सबको थोड़ी मालूम है, लेकिन बहुत बड़ी समस्या ये है कि जिन देशों ने उन्हें छोड़ा था, जो उनको छोड़कर गए थे, वो इस तरह से कंगाल कर गए थे और यही नहीं, उसके बाद भी वो आते रहे और उनके सामान को, उनके जो जल संसाधन को, उनके बिजली और खनिज संसाधन को हड़पते रहे और इस तरह से कि अफ्रीका के देश कभी भी खड़े नहीं हो पाए। कभी भी उन्होंने ऐसा नहीं हो पाया कि वो अपने देश में सुखपूर्वक रह सके। नहीं तो ऐसी क्या बात है कि जिस देश में इतना अधिक खनिज हो, जिसमें सोना हो, जिसमें इस तरह इतनी सारी भाषाएं, इतनी सारी चीजें हो, इतने सारे जीव जंतु हो, जिसमें दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा थार हो, दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा जंगल हो, वो प्रांत, वो महाद्वीप इतना गरीब रह जाए कि हमेशा हर जगह हम अफ्रीका के लोगों को शरणार्थी के रूप में दूसरे देशों में जाते देखे, जहां पर वह दूसरे नागरिक के रूप में काम करे। ये सब का कारण नहीं छोड़ रही है, वो समस्याएं हैं जो उन्हें नहीं छोड़ रही। आज हम उसी को लेकर उपस्थित हुए हैं और हम उड़िया भाषा के मूर्धन्य कवियों के साथ हैं। उड़िया भाषा के ही कवि वासुदेव सुनामी जी हमारे साथ हैं, जो इस कार्यक्रम के कोऑर्डिनेटर हैं और मैं उनको आमंत्रित करती हूँ। वासुदेव जी, आपका स्वागत है। नमस्कार।
नमस्कार।
नमस्कार। वासुदेव जी एक बहुत अच्छे कवि हैं और शासक भी रहे हैं। अच्छी प्रशासन सेवा में रहते हुए उन्होंने दोनों तरह की समस्याओं को समझा है और इस तरह से वो हर तबके की कवियों से, हर तबके की समस्याओं से जुड़े हुए हैं। तो वासुदेव जी, मैं ये मंच आपके हवाले करती हूँ और आप एक-एक करके कवियों का नाम लीजिए, मैं उनको मंच पर भेजती जाऊंगी और आप उनको
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good evening to all my fellow poets in the screen and those who are watching off the screen. Thanks, Rati Saxena ji, for coordinating and organizing this wonderful event. Friends, it is not only in Africa, we in India, Odisha also witness displacement, migration, human rights violation, instability, and many more. Caste violation, regional disparity, violence in the name of religion, etc., are happening on daily basis. There should be response, and there is response from the Odia writers against such incidents. There is a political boundary, but humanity has no boundary, we believe. Let us witness some example from Odia poetry. Without wasting much time, just I wanted to introduce my fellow poets who are going to present their poetry. The chief invitee of this event is Ismail Diadi Haider from Spain, who originally hails from Africa. Ismail, congratulations and welcome to this event. Now I welcome Dr. Asutosh Parida. Parida ji, you are Pareda ji, good
Hello,
evening, sir.
good evening, everybody. Namaste.
Now, I would like to invite Farooq. Welcome, Saroj, to this event. Now, I would like to invite Kedar Mishra. Welcome,
Namaskar. Thank you, Vasudha.
Sally Subhasri Subhasmita, welcome to you, ma'am. And Nicholas Mishra, poet Nicholas Mishra, perhaps. Yeah, he's here.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Nicholas.
Thank you.
Josna Rani Bhoi. Josna Rani Bhoi. Perhaps there is some problem with the network.
There, she is not there. Yeah,
And
she is not there.
Pratikya Jena.
Pratikya
She is also not
probably
there.
not here.
Okay. So, welcome to this wonderful event for poetry recitation and presentation. First of all, I would like to invite Ismail Diadi Haidar. He is a historian, philosopher, poet who lives in Spain. He is currently the president of Cati Foundation in Spain and director of Cati Fund in Mali, the most important Andalusian documentary legacy outside of Spain. He is the author of a number of books and articles and has lectured in several countries. Ismail, you are most welcome to this event, and I request you to present your poetry.
Gracias.
Please.
Y gracias a India por la organización de este evento. Voy a leer los poemas en español. Breve historia de mi vida. Tenía 3 estaciones de lluvia en el año de la independencia de este país. Tenía 6 estaciones de lluvia en el año de la Guerra del Norte. Tenía 9 estaciones de lluvia en el año del cólera. Tenía 12 estaciones de lluvia en el año de la Gran Hambruna. Tenía 15 estaciones de lluvia en el año de la otra guerra. Cuando cayeron los obuses de los yihadistas, tenía 54 años. Elegí entre el ataúd y la maleta y me fui. Me fui como otras 54 personas en una barcaza. Han pasado 10 años y todas las noches caen obuses en mis sueños. Todas las noches sentado sobre una maleta, yo también espero. Y cae la nieve, solo cae la nieve. Ese tiempo mío, escribo poemas para tener un lugar donde respirar. Mientras guardo las ventanas cerradas y las luces apagadas, veo mejor la libélula y mi niñez correteando en un campo de espiga. Escribo un poema para tener un sendero de espiga de montañas. Mientras por mis caminos ando, miro al infinito, se me acerca más el vuelo de las garzas y las nubes flotantes. Soy de un mundo de palabras sin rimas. Este tiempo mío arde por sus ríos y sus bosques. ¿Dónde vivirá el hombre si en el poema no hay cielo ni alas? Y el último poema para terminar, ocas. Después de la siesta, riego, bugambilas, palmeras y sausas lloronas. Cuando se ponía el sol, una mariposa aleteaba entre las flores. Una libélulas rojizas volaba sobre el estanque de los peces. Bajé a la gallinera con restos de tomates, zanahorias y patatas. Las ocas calladas seguían bajo los árboles. Me miran, les miro, no nos conocemos. ¿Qué vamos a decirnos ante desconocidos? Quizás está tan feliz de estar encerrados aquí como yo de vivir en el exilio. Gracias.
Thank you. We listened the Spanish version of Ismail's poetry, but the thing is that actually we enjoyed the voices at the how it sounds, but we could not understand much. We could not, in fact, understand the sense of the poetry. So I would like to request Kedar Misra to read the English version so as to understand the voices of Ismail. Kedar, please.
Thank you very much, Basuda. It's an honor to recite the poem of Ismail. So full of pain, so full of involvement and commitment. So lovely. It's a great pleasure to read a fellow poet's poetry, and we are sharing the same kind of pain. You are in Africa, and here we are in Odisha. The first poem is called "And the Snow Falls." I was 3 years old in the year of independence of this country. I was 6 years old in the year of the Northern War. I was 9 years old in the cholera year. I was 12 years old in the year of the Great Famine. I was 15 years old in the year of the other war. When the jihadist shells fell, I was 54 years old. I chose between the coffin and the suitcase, and I left with my daughter and my son. I left my city like 54 other people on a barge. 10 years have passed, and every night shells fall in my dreams. Every night, sitting on a suitcase, I am also waiting, and the snow falls, only snow falls. The next poem is This Time of Mine. I write poems to have a place where I can breathe. As I keep the windows closed and the lights off, I see better the dragonfly and my childhood running around in a field of wheat. I write a poem to have a path of feet and mountains. While on my ways, I walk and look here at infinity. The flight of the herons and the floating clouds comes closer to me. I am not sorry for being just from a world of words without rhymes. This time of mine bonds for its rivers and its forests. Where will man live if with the poem he does not make heaven and wings? And the last one is Goose. After the nap, a water bougainvillea, palm tree, and weeping willows. When the sun went down, a butterfly fluttered among the flowers. A reddish dragonfly was flying over the fish pond. I go down to the chicken coop with the remains of tomatoes, carrot, potatoes. The silent geese were still under the trees. They look at me. I look at them. We don't know each other. What are we going to say among strangers? What are we going to say among strangers? Maybe they are so happy to be locked up here like me from living in exile. Maybe They are so happy to be locked up here, like me, from living in exile. It's so brilliant, so beautiful poems. And thank you, Ismail, for these kind, beautiful poems.
I could not resist myself to translate it, so I have already translated into Oriya also. Thank you so much, Ismail, and thank you so much, Kedar, for your wonderful reading. Now I would like to invite one of the iconic poet of Odisha, Asutosh Parida. Dr. Asutosh Parida is prominent in contemporary Odia literature for his committed poetry. He has published 11 collections of poems and one book of essays. He has received several awards and honors, which include Odisha Sahitya Academy Award, Bhanuji Rao Memorial Award, Sachi Raut Rai Kavita Samman, Gangadhar Meher Kavita Samman, etc., and so many. He worked as a scientist in the CSIR, Institute of Mineral and Material Technology, Bhubaneswar, and presently, after superannuation, staying in Bhubaneswar. He is one of the strongest voice against any kind of human oppression in the field of literature. He is also an ideologue for many young poets in contemporary Odia literature. I welcome Dr. Parida. Let us listen to Dr. Parida, the voice of Odisha. Dr. Parida.
Thank you, Vasudev. I feel really inspired to participate in this program, which has been organized in solidarity with the struggle of the people of Africa. And I'm especially thankful to Kritya and Rati Saxanaji to organize this throughout in many places in India, and especially today at Bhubaneswar. So my first poem, I'll read it in English, and then I'll read it the translation, Soria original. So this is translated by Durga Panda, and the title of the poem is Crying. To the faces that look like mute walls, to the doors that have gone blind, to the deaf, motionless mountain, to the sinking moon, and to the shifting clouds, I asked, what is my crime? There was no answer. The seat of justice was lying vacant for some centuries. Trees that stood witness were propping up and dying as usual, but it was I who stood condemned within the witness box like a convict ever since I was born. There each day a bird plummeted from the sky after getting hit by an arrow. A river was getting dried up on its way down like a deep breath of air. Behind the scene, somebody was busy passing judgments, and each day hordes of men were ascending the staircase to the gallows. To the annoyed masters, to the loyal advisors, to the burning forests, to the sun that glows within many eyes, I asked, what is my crime? There was no answer. The assassin's hands have already strangled me to death, but I wonder why I was getting born again and again, undaunted. But I wonder why I was getting born again and again, undaunted. Perhaps that was my only crime. Perhaps that was my only crime. So now I should read the Odia of this poem. Aparadh, you can call it, but it is one of the poems from my journal collection. କାନ୍ଥ ଭଳି ମୁହଁମାନଙ୍କୁ ପଚାରିଲି, ଅନ୍ଧ ଦ୍ୱାରମାନଙ୍କୁ ପଚାରିଲି, ବଧିର ପର୍ବତ ବୁଡ଼ି ଯାଉଥିବା ଜହ୍ନ ଓ ଘୁଞ୍ଚି ଯାଉଥିବା ମେଘକୁ ପଚାରିଲି, ମୋର ଅପରାଧ କ'ଣ? କିଛି ଉତ୍ତର ନଥିଲା। ବିଚାରକର ଆସନ ଶତାବ୍ଦୀ ଧରି ଖାଲି ପଡ଼ିଥିଲା। ସାକ୍ଷୀ ଗଛଲତା ସବୁ ଜନ୍ମ ହୋଇ ମରି ଯାଉଥିଲେ ଓ କାଠଗଡ଼ା ଭିତରେ ମୁଁ ଠିଆ ହୋଇଥିଲି ଆଜନ୍ମରୁ। ପ୍ରତିଦିନ ପକ୍ଷୀଟିଏ ସେଠି ଶରବିଦ୍ଧ ହୋଇ ଖସି ପଡ଼ୁଥିଲା। ନଈଟିଏ ବହି ଯାଉ ଯାଉ ଶୁଖି ଯାଉଥିଲା ଦୀର୍ଘ ଶ୍ୱାସ ହୋଇ। ପ୍ରତିଦିନ କେହି ଜଣେ ସେଠି ନେପଥ୍ୟରୁ ଶୁଣାଉଥିଲା ଦଣ୍ଡାଦେଶ। ପ୍ରତିଦିନ ଫାଶିକୁଣ୍ଠରେ ଚଲୁଥିଲା ମଣିଷ। ପଚାରିଲି ବିରକ୍ତ ପ୍ରଭୁମାନଙ୍କୁ, ବିଶ୍ୱସ୍ତ ଜ୍ଞାନୀଙ୍କୁ, ପୋଡ଼ି ଯାଉଥିବା ଅରଣ୍ୟକୁ, ଆଖି ଭିତରେ ଜଳୁଥିବା ସୂର୍ଯ୍ୟକୁ, ମୋର ଅପରାଧ କ'ଣ? କିଛି ଉତ୍ତର ନଥିଲା। ଅପରାଧୀ ହାତମାନେ ମୋତେ ତଣ୍ଟି ଚିପି ମାରି ସାରିଥିଲେ। ତଥାପି ମୁଁ ବାରମ୍ବାର ଜନ୍ମ ନେଉଥିଲି। ତାହା ହିଁ କ'ଣ ମୋର ଏକମାତ୍ର ଅପରାଧ ଥିଲା?
Oh,
I think I can read another poem, I think. Vasu?
Dada, in the next round, let us see if time will permit, then we will go
Okay.
for. So at this
Okay.
moment, let us.
Okay. Fine.
Dada, the wonderful presentation and wonderful poetry. What is my crime? Actually, the innocent doesn't know what is his crime, but he is being killed. So this is your message. A great salute to you. Now I would like to invite Saroj. Saroj is an activist, a people's leader, tremendous poet, an essayist, and above all, an editor of the renowned Odia journal Anvesha. Wherever there is a people's resistance, maybe for the migration, maybe for the displacement, and maybe for the anti-mining issues, Saroj will be physically there. He is the true friend of the farmers' sufferings for different issues relating to agriculture. He has published 2 poetry collections to his credit and 6 essays books on various contemporary issues of India and Odisha. Saroj, I would like to request you to present your poems, please.
Thank you, Basuda. So far, the name of Africa, we the people of Odisha always identified us with deprivation,
Saroj, you are not able. Hello? Saroj, we are not able to hear you. Saroj, we are not able to hear you. Is there any problem? Without killing much time, shall we go to other poet, Ratiji?
Sir.
I
Yes,
think
yes. You can invite someone else.
Yeah, someone else. Now I would like to present the poems. He is Kedar Mishra. Kedar Mishra is a poet, essayist, classical dance critic, researcher, public speaker, and renowned journalist. He is an established and influential voice in Odia literature, especially.
मैम सरोज जी आ गए हैं सर और ऑन वीडियो है, ऑनलाइन है सरोज जी.
Hello.
Saroj?
Yeah, Saroj can be here. Yes.
Yeah.
Saroj, are you comfortable?
Yeah.
Please go on.
Now I am reading one of my poems on hunger. the song of hunger. If you could take away my hand and legs, if you could take away my hands and legs, pierce pointed needles into my eyes, cut my tongue with sharp scissors, then why do not you cut my head off and be done with the whole thing? You better be aware that even after each limb of my body is taken away one by one, leaving me only with my head, even then my hunger will raise its stubborn head with all its audacity. No matter whatever be that place, be it in the vast desert of the Thar or in any snow-covered city, my hunger will spout its leg and hands on its own. Even if, even if you put it inside the four concrete walls or within the fence of barbed wires, my hunger will move around undaunted, playing the flute of its bones and singing aloud its own song. My hunger will wander through the maze of narrow violence of city and it consign and it's crossing like a bloody marauder, smearing the dust of its village on his forehead, mud on his bare feet, emitting black smoke from his nose, baring his teeth. That's why I say, that's why I say, cut off my head. Neither will the head remain, nor will you have the trouble of coming to me in different guise. Let us let the cruel story of hunger, stomach, and deceit be finished once for all. Let the cruel story of hunger, stomach, and deceit be finished once for all. This poem translated by my friend Durga Prasad Panda.
Thank you, Saroj. Thanks a lot. Now I would like to request Kedar Misra. As I was talking about him, he is a poet, essayist, classical dance critic, researcher, public speaker, and renowned journalist. He is an established and influential voice in Odia literature, especially in poetry. The poetry books which gave Mr. Kedar Misra recognition are Sabdaku Charipado, Asa Sukto, and so many, along with two prose books he has written. He is well acclaimed for his English writings such as Popular Religion and Ascetic Practices, New Studies on Mahima Dharma. Again, Bhima Bhoi verses from the Void and Kandhamal Riot and the Role of Mass Media, Folk Dances of Odisha. He has got a lot of contribution to Odia literature, so I invite my dear Kedar Misra to present his poetry.
Again, thank you, Basuda. Thank you, Ratiji, for this wonderful opportunity to share our anger, our solidarity with the people of Africa. You know, the world is one. And as a poet, I hardly believe, there is a country of, I belong to any country. I belong to the world of humanity. So I'm going to recite two of my English poems. I'm not going to read any Odia poem. So the first poem is titled, My Country Has No Name. My country is a human body. A body where white shines more than the black. In my body, the color of hunger is dark, and in your, it's flowery. I pick a name for my country. I call it mother or father. I name it as a land of thirst or a map of dream. I live in a country where rain is scarce and fire is plenty. I named my country after my life. I am hungry. I am dead. I am bloodthirsty for my own. I am as my country is. Love is the broken nest of a crow in my country. I live on the street which has no pin code. I have no email ID or phone number. I grow like a tree in the thigh of a stone. Most of the time, I look myself in the mirror and my image looks exactly like my country. I am my country, hungry and hated by all, broken and blasted. I am a beheaded statue guarding my own frontiers. Good you, now you want to rename my country. Good you, now you want to rename my country.
Wow, Kedar.
So
Great.
the
I
next
am my country. I live in the street which has no pin code. Great.
next poem is called Homeless.
Yeah.
I don't have a home. I live on the street. I live in the jail. I live in the hell. I live where a flower is yet to bloom. I live in a poetry which is yet to be written. I live in pain which does not have a language. I live in a pain which does not have a language. I live in Ethiopia or Syria. I live in Nigeria, in Manipur, in Kashmir, in Ukraine. I live in hidden heart of Niamgiri Hill. I live in the dump-yard of a democracy. I live in the dump-yard of a democracy. I live in a wooden toy like a moth. I live in the river like a crocodile. I live in your love like an unknown bird. I live in the explosion of a bomb. I live in the cold barrel of a gun. I live in the edge of a knife. I live in the bitterness of pace. I live in your stony conscience. I live in the fear of your death. I live in the black skin of humanity. I live in the black skin of humanity. I don't have a home. I live everywhere where you are alive as human. I don't have a home. I live everywhere where you are alive as human. Thank you very much, Basudha.
Yeah, thank you. I don't have home. Great. Now, I would like to invite Nikhilesh Misra. Nikhilesh Misra is a young poet, has written 2 poetry collections in Odia and 1 in English. His books have been shortlisted for the Sahitya Academy Yuva Puraskar 4 times in past 3 years. Great. He is the recipient of the Odia Film Development Corporation Scholarship, Katha Navapratibha Prize, Tapasya Sambhavana Prize, and Dr. Anamika Poetry Prize. Apart from the poetry, he writes short stories, columns, and scripts, and regularly translates as well. He has recently co-written a short film in the upcoming Odia anthology film. He is currently a student of direction and screenplay writing at the Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute, Kolkata. Great. Nicholas, welcome. Please present your
Thank you, sir.
poetry.
Thank you. Thank you for the lovely introduction. And thank you, Ratiji, for having this event and having me in the event. I'll read 2 English translations of my audio poems. First one is called Disaster Management, or Who is Sarfaraz? All night yesterday, Sarfaraz has drunk. All night yesterday, Sarfaraz has drunk around 2 nips directly from the bottle, and after every sip, he has cried, Sharab haram hai, Sharab haram hai. You have no idea. Yesterday, all night a storm has raged around our area. We've called for a meeting to give it a name. the store. It would be good if you can make some time and come to the meeting. Yesterday, all night, one by one, all the teak wood doors have been shattered. All the tender branches of the drumstick plant in front of our house have snapped, and all the remaining hollow bones of trust have been crushed to a pulp. You would be the best person to raise the issue of compensation. We are waiting. When everyone comes, we will start the meeting. We, as in only me and Sarfaraz. He is sleeping. Let him sleep. Just come directly into the room. Why should we wake him up, right? Oh, I forgot. There is no door anymore for you to wait outside and knock. So this is the first one. Sorry. The second one is titled Sarve Bhavantu. So Sarve Bhavantu is a popular Upanishadic chant. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. In Sanskrit, that means let all sentient beings be happy. So this one is called Sarve Bhavantu. Let's say his name is Abdul. Let's say his name is Abdul. Life teaches you well to walk your path alone, counting your own steps. How far is Jordan from Syria? Do you know? Life shouts at you, run away from here, well in time. Any time now, His Excellency would get angry, or his deputies. Life teaches you well how to stay alive. Life tells you God is on a vacation now and there's a lock on his post office and his postman has committed suicide after reporting his daughter's rape. See here what Abdul has in his bag. He's saying, I have my mother in here and my sister. No, there's no bomb or anything here. Just a dark red scarf and a black burqa. Syria. You know Syria, right? How far is Jordan from there? Oi, Abdul, why does this look all dusted? You have smeared ash here or what? How far is Jordan from Syria? Do you know? You don't know. Don't look here and there. You, yes, you who are listening to this poem, I'm asking you. How come you don't know? What if your 4-year-old boy asks you tomorrow, what will you tell him? How far is Jordan from Syria? Abdul? 3027 steps. Abdul would have said, had he known how to count till that number. He knows only to count till 10. He doesn't respond to the name Abdul. Let's say his name is not Abdul. Tell me, what's the name of your younger son? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. How far the
Nice.
Jordan from Syria? Really, you have written in a global perspective. So thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. Now I would like to invite one of the young and emerging voice of Odia literature with strong commitment. She is none other than the Sally Subhasri Subhasmita. She never tolerate and compromise with any kind of discrimination in the name of either religion or gender or regionalism and so on, and tries to reflect in her poetry. I request Subhasri to present her poetry, please.
नमस्कार शुभ संध्या आम सहित जने कवि थिले तांको ना अखिल नायक केबे केबे कवि माने केवल देह त्याग करंती तांकर मृत्यु हुएनी आउ से माने अनेक लोकन को कवितारे बंची रहंती जेंती मोर एक कवितार ना अखिलदा सुन अखिलदा कथा थिला जो दिन आकाश रे तारा नथिबो आ आखिरे नथिबो निद सेई दिन काउरिया काठी जाड़ी टेकी धरिबी आकाश आड़े तू लंबा लंबा पाहुंड पकई फेरी आसीबू तू लंबा लंबा पाहुंड पकई फेरी आसीबू कटिकी चौड़ा हसटे हसी पचारिबू किह कवि सोइनु की सारा राती कोठु आनिबी निद दादा कोठु आनिबी निद दादा मो देश को लंगड़ा करी बुलेई दिया गला पृथ्वीर चारिकड़े समस्ते चुप नेता मंत्री खणी माफिया और आदिवासी ए समस्ते एकाठी हेले षडयंत्र टेबुल उपरे ପୃଥିବୀର ଶେଷ ଗର୍ଭ ଯାଏଁ ଖାଲି କରି ସେମାନେ ଲୁଟି ନେଲେ ଖଣିଜ। ଏଠି ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କ ପାଟିରେ ବିଣ୍ଡା। ଦାଦା, ସେ ନାରୀ ଅସ୍ମିତାର କଥା କହୁଥିବା ଲୋକ ନିଜେ ତା ଉଲଗ୍ନ ଶରୀରର ଫଟୋ ଆଉ ଭିଡିଓ ବୁଲେଇଲେ ଟ୍ୱିଟର, ଫେସବୁକ୍, ହ୍ୱାଟ୍ସଆପ୍। କାହାରି ଜଣଙ୍କର ଫୁଟିଗଲାନି ଆଖି। ଦାଦା, ଧର୍ମ ନାଁରେ ଜାତିର ନିକିତିରେ ବଣ୍ଟା ହେଇଗଲା ଏ ଦେଶ। ଦୁଇ ବିଲେଇଙ୍କ କଳିରେ ଲାଭ ନେଲା ପଡୋଶୀ। ତୁ ମତେ ନିଦ କଥା ପଚାରୁଛୁ? ଦାଦା ପଚାର, ଦାଦା ପଚାର, ପଚି ଯାଇଥିବା ଜହ୍ନରୁ ଫାଳେ କୁଆଡେ ଗଲା? ଧର୍ଷିତା ଦେହରୁ ଗୋଟେ ଜାତି କେମିତି ନିଜର ଇଜ୍ଜତ ଅଣ୍ଡାଳିଲା, ଗୋଟେ ମହାନ ରାଷ୍ଟ୍ର କେମିତି ତାର ସାର୍ବଭୌମତ୍ୱ ହରେଇ ଦଳେ ଗେରୁଆ ରଙ୍ଗର ଲୁଙ୍ଗି ଭିତରେ ଅଣନିଶ୍ୱାସୀ ହେଲା। ଦାଦା ପଚାର, ନିଜ ଚଡି ଭିତର ଜିନିଷ ଉପରେ ଗର୍ବ କରୁଥିବା ଦଳେ ନପଂସକ କେମିତି ନିଜକୁ ପୁରୁଷ ବୋଲି ଗର୍ଜନ ଛାଡିଲେ। ଦାଦା ପଚାର, କେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ସୈନିକ ନିଜର ସ୍ତ୍ରୀକୁ ଶ୍ୱାନ ଶୃଗାଳ ହାତରୁ ବଞ୍ଚାଇ ନ ପାରିବାର ଅବଶୋଷରେ ଲୁହ ଢାଳିଲା। ପଚାର ଦାଦା ପଚାର। ହେଲେ ସତ କହୁଛି ଦାଦା, ତୋ କଥାର ଉତ୍ତର ଦେବାକୁ ଅସମର୍ଥ ସବୁ କବିର କଲମ। ସମଗ୍ର ବ୍ରହ୍ମାଣ୍ଡର ଶେଷ ଲୋକର ଶେଷ ରକ୍ତବିନ୍ଦୁ ବି ଲେଖିପାରିବ ନାହିଁ ସେ କଳଙ୍କିତ ଅଧ୍ୟାୟର କଥା। ସମଗ୍ର ବ୍ରହ୍ମାଣ୍ଡର ଶେଷ ଲୋକର ଶେଷ ରକ୍ତବିନ୍ଦୁ ବି ଲେଖିପାରିବ ନାହିଁ ସେ କଳଙ୍କିତ ଅଧ୍ୟାୟର କଥା। ଯା ଦାଦା, ଆଜି ଦୀପାବଳି ନହେଲେ ବି କାଉରିଆ ଜାଳି ବାଟ ଦେଖାଉଛି, ଫେରିଯା। ଯା ଦାଦା, ଆଜି ଦୀପାବଳି ନହେଲେ ବି କାଉରିଆ ଜାଳି ତତେ ବାଟ ଦେଖାଉଛି, ଫେରିଯା। ମୋର ତ ଆହୁରି ଭୋଗିବାର ଅଛି ମଣିଷ ହେବାର ଅଭିଶାପ। ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ। ମୋର ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ପୋଏମ କେଦାର ଦା ପଢିବେ। ଇଂଲିଶ ପୋଏମ।
It looks like,
English
should I?
translation?
Yara nahi, but there is another poem.
Okay, you please.
This is a smaller one. The poetry by Subhasri Subhasmita, and translated by renowned poet and writer J.P. Das. The poem is titled To My Pallbearers. They entered my barely breathing body and went home. They washed themselves clean with soap and detergent in the steaming bathroom, poured water on the body, toweled themselves clean, did absolution. Their meal was my body, my limbs the dishes, which they ate their fill, and their body is now content. They now went out in a procession with placards that carried the news of my violent death. The mystery of all is that I myself observed mourning, wrote poems, watched news on television. The dead body and the pallbearers had become one and the same. The dead body and the pallbearers had become one and the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Kedar. And now I would like to request Dr. Asutosh Parida again to present another poetry. After presentation of another poetry of Dr. Parida, I will read one poetry. Dr. Parida?
Why don't you? Why Vasu, you should read your poem, then I can read. Better. One round should be completed.
Acha. This is my poetry. It is titled Race and Caste. They are one and the same. You cannot tell one from the other. Race reigns there, caste over here. There one is slave, and here one is untouchable. Race, an impossible big lie visible to the naked eye. And caste, a savage fiction no one's eye can discern. Only this sets the two apart. They are outsiders and foreigners are the villain. They are outsiders and foreigners are the villain, and here the tormentors are familiar faces. Oh friends, tell me. Oh friends, tell me, how long can we survive stifling the voice of protest, tying off our tongues, tying off our tongues? Thank you so much. Dada, now I would like to request Dr. Parida to please present one of his poetry.
Actually, because there are so many people are there, so I will read a poem which has been translated in Hindi. It's a very small poem, and if necessary, I will read its English translation. The name of the poem is English, it is Socrates, or in Odia we call it Socrates. In Hindi it is Socrates. They call it Socrates. जितने दिन विश्वास है मनुष्य पर.
दादा तमर कैमरा सुनी.
कैमरा सुनी.
You are not visible in the screen.
Why it is open?
But then you are not visible in the screen. I think there is some problem.
Let us
we can hear you.
You are
yeah,
audible,
we can hear the voice. Yeah.
Okay.
Am I now visible?
No,
not visible, but you are audible. Please read your poem.
Audible.
Read.
Okay. But it is on. My camera is on. Okay.
Okay. Please
Socrates. जितने दिन विश्वास है मनुष्य पर, मैं नहीं पूछूंगा क्या है इस पात्र में. हर एक घूंट में पृथ्वी मुक्त हो जाएगी मेरी प्यास से. हर एक घूंट से पृथ्वी मुक्त हो जाएगी मेरी प्यास से. आकाश लाल हो उठेगा मेरी इच्छा से. आकाश लाल हो उठेगा मेरी इच्छा से. जो भी घुला है इसमें, जो भी घुला है इसमें, काल या कालकूट, काल या कालकूट, 100 बार शहीद हो जाने को काफी. 100 बार शहीद होने जाने को काफी है. If you like, I can read it in English.
I think not needed.
Sorry, is it necessary?
जेहेतु अपन हिंदी रे सब पढ़ी देले.
So it is okay. I think you can go to the next point.
Yeah.
I think Saroj should read another poem. Yeah, he read only one poem.
Now Saroj, are you prepared to read another poem?
Yeah. I can read a small poem.
Yeah, please.
The title is The Other Shore. Many people I have ferried across the river. Many people I have ferried across the river, be they householder or monk on a pilgrimage. The very moment they step inside, the other shore lights up in their eyes. The very moment they step inside, the other shore lights up in their eyes. They hardly bother to know whether the river is still or restless, if the water is very deep, fathomable or not. But as a boatman, I am left alone with my boat and rudder. I carry the loads of their lives. I carry the loads of their lives with all the loads of this life and the lives beyond. I sail across the thick darkness of my hunger. I sail across the thick darkness of my hunger. I myself have never seen the other shore. I myself have never seen the other shore, stretching from this shore to the other, and from that other shore to this shore. I just flow along with the clutter of the water. I just flow along with the clutter of the water. I think just once in my lifetime I will turn the boat upside down. I think just once in my lifetime I will turn the boat upside down. Name of this
Thank you.
Odia poem is Sekulo, translated by friend Durga Prasad Panda. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
patient
Thank you.
listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Saroj. And now I will read one of my poems, and then I will read the translation of Ismail, and we will end up. Repetition. My poetry is repetition. The title is repetition. Here, nothing is new, not even the fruits on the trees, hunger in the grief of the soil, the sleeping dependency as the heart is set on fire and the trust running away, quenching the heart of the downtrodden. Everything is repetition, the scriptures, the history. As I stood with a begging bowl to get education, I had to sacrifice my thumb in the age of Dwapara. As I sat in meditation, in complete surrender, I had to get my head decapitated in the age of Treta. Only my hands, only my hands of spade and pickaxe remained. When I opened my mouth to entreat for an inch of earth, I had to lose my tongue. All that remains today are a heart torn asunder, and the eyes closed in tear in the shrunken socket. Nothing is new, brother, nothing is new. I have always been chosen a witness to history. Consensually, the salivating, greedy eyes of the king and his council are on my neck to make wood out of me for worship. Only utter repetition, only utter repetition. This was written in 2006 when 11 people were killed in Kalinganagar. Tribal people were killed in Kalinganagar. Thank you. Now, I would like to read the Oriya translation of Ismail Ebong Tusarapata. Ebong Tusarapata. This is the translation in Oriya of Ismail's poetry. ए देश जेबे स्वाधीन हैला सेतेबेले मते 3 वर्ष होइथिला उत्तरांचल रे जेबे युद्ध होइथिला सेतेबेले मते 6 वर्ष होइथिला कलेरा वर्ष रे मते 9 महादुर्भिक्ष वर्ष रे मोर 12 वर्ष अन्य एक युद्ध वर्ष रे मोर 15 वर्ष बयस होइथिला जेबे जिहादी माने गुली फुटेइले मते 54 वर्ष होइथिला मते जेबे कफिन एवं सुटकेस मध्य रे गोटिए को बाछिबा को कहा गला मु मोर झियो एवं पुओ सहित चली गली मु अन्य 54 जन लोकंकर परी मोर सहर छाड़ी डंगारे बसी चली गली 10 वर्ष बीती गलानी अथच प्रत्येक राति रे जिहादी गुली फुटा शब्द मो स्वप्न रे आसे प्रतिदिन राति रे सुटकेस उपरे बसी मु अपेक्षा करी थाए एवं तुषारपात हुए केवल तुषारपात हुए। द्वितीय कविता एही समय मोर मु जागाटीए पाई कविता लेखे जेउठी नहीं हेब निश्वास मु जेबे झरका बंद करी लाइट लिभाए भल भाबरे देखि पारे कंकी को ओ गहम खेदरे दौड़ुथिबा मोर पिला दिन को गहम एवं पर्वतर रास्ता पाइबा पाई मु कविता लेखे रास्ता रे चाली चाली जेबे दिग्बलय को देखे तो मो निकटतर हुअंती बगर उड़ान एवं भासमान बादल ए शब्द जगत रे संगीत नाही बोली मु दुखित न ए शब्द जगत संगीत नाही बोली मो दुखित नुहे मोर एही समय सबु नदी और जंगल पाई जली जाउछि केमिति बंचिबे ए मनीष माने जेबे कवितार स्वर्ग एवं पक्षीर उड़ान नथिले केमिति बंचिबे ए मनीष माने जेबे कवितार स्वर्ग एवं पक्षीर उड़ान नथिले तांकर तृतीय कविता शेष कविता बतक मु सोई उठी बुगेनभिला खजुरी गछ और कांदिरी लता को पानी ढाले जेबे सूर्यास्त हुए फूल गुटिकरे एक प्रजापति घुरी बोले माछ पोखरी उपरे लाल रंगर पंखी उड़ू थाए मु बड़का टमाटो गाजर आलू चोपा धरी बतक बसा को जाए तथापि बतक माने चुपचाप रही थांती गछ तले से माने मते अनांती मु सेमानंको अनाए आमे केही कहा को जानुना आमे तेबे कौन कहिबा ए चिन्हा मानंकु हुए तो मो परी निर्वासन रहिबा अपेक्षा से माने एठी बंदी थाई बहुत खुशी रे अछंती हुए तो मो परी निर्वासन रे रहिबा अपेक्षा से माने एठी बंदी थाई बहुत खुशी रे अछंती थैंक यू सो मच ऑल द पोएट्स फॉर देयर वंडरफुल प्रेजेंटेशंस एंड नाउ इट्स ओवर टू रति जी for further action.
To have her last words, Rati ji is always so close to the language poets. Actually, though she writes in Hindi, but she is always close to everyone who is writing in India and across the world. So I think there must be few words from Rati ji.
Yeah, Rati ji.
अनम्यूट कर लीजिए मैम, अनम्यूट कर लीजिए.
See, thank you very much, all of you, because it was a very nice session, but I must accept it that there was some technical error and a big technical error that we were only able to see in YouTube. We were not, nobody could see it in a Facebook, and that technical error was not from our side. And there was some net problem also because many are getting trouble to enter it and they were just going back. So this is a technical problem. So this shows that we have to depend on natural things. We cannot leave the nature and we cannot become very, very technical. That is, we must learn it. And that is when we want to go to nature, means that is how we wanted to do this. We have to go to Africa. We have to go to our country also, like Korea, like Himachal Pradesh, like Himalaya, and many places. You know that wherever from years I am finding that the mountains are just cut like the cakes. They just finish it. People finish the mountains. They destroy the rivers. They do not know that at last the only natural things will come to help us, not these technical things. Technical things will destroy in some time. They are not. We cannot depend on them. And as we see that Ismail's poems were fantastic. You have translated. When you were reading those poems, I feel that they were written in Odia only. Because it didn't show that it is written in a foreign language. So it was, yes, I love languages. Languages are the most beautiful gift to human from God or from whoever, from our God of what we say, that Vani, or our God of education, Vani, Saraswati. So this is the thing. I feel that we can speak more and more language. See, I feel more painful when I go to these countries, like when I have gone to South America, Central America, and I find that these people cannot understand any language other than Spanish. Spanish is not their language. Only in Brazil, Portuguese language is there. But Spanish is not their language. Even Mexicans also. And I had one friend from Mexico who is not no more, but he was saying that we have thousands of languages, and those languages were systematic killed by their this Spanish European people who came. They came first in Central America, then they have gone to South America, and then only they came to North America. Somehow that North America, you can see that is Spanish. Again, you can see that in North America, Spanish, English, and French, they are European languages. They dominate. Canada, French and English dominate, not their languages. And I have many friends, that Native Americans friends, Native Canadian friends, who are very great poets. They said that we were taught systematically in their language. So because they wanted clerks, clerks big posts, bearers, they wanted nurses, bearers, and peons, and that is why, because they don't want to give a big job. So that systematically we were taught their languages, and we were in India also. I have heard that that if you speak in Hindi, the teacher will beat you. That thing happens in India also. It happening in the many schools, and I know that when my children were studying that time also it was happening. And I was very much particular for the language. I said you have to learn all three languages, because more language you have, more lucky you will be, because you will understand more. So that is the thing. I feel that of course, I would be very happy that Ismail could speak his own language. I think he belongs to Mali, and if he could speak his own language, that will be more beautiful. Because I know some South Indian poets, and they are singers. They are beautiful singers, beautiful dancers. They have their own languages also, but some were killed and some they didn't want to preserve, because they wanted to become something very superior. So this is how that when you talk about language, that is why I said that in India we are going to have poetry reading in many languages. In the whole world they will have in Spanish and French and in English, and maybe one or two Arabic. But in India itself, we have in 8 languages. So that is the greatness of India. And I said in future we can have the language in 22 languages. We will have poetry reading for you. We can show you that what is language. We are lucky that we could not destroy our language. Somehow we could save something out of it. So thank you very much. I enjoyed this poetry reading very much. I understand a little bit all the languages, little bit I understand, and because language has its own taste and beauty. So and all of you are very senior poet. I know very well. So that is how. And I'm sorry for the technical problem. I came here before time, but the technical problem this started showing just before the program. So I'm sorry for that. But we will record it, and then we will send you the whole video. So thank you very much, all of you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
On my behalf and on behalf of all the poets of Odisha and even Ismail also, thank you so much. But one thing I would like to say that because of this same technical issues, two of our poets, very young poets, they are female poets, they could not join in this program. So really, I'm sorry for them because of
We
this
will call
technical
we will call them sometime
So,
again, because this
yeah.
technical problem maybe I do not know. We can, because it is raining outside. No? So this problem is there. Anyhow, we will invite them again, because we have a stage for the young poet, and we should give them a stage. And I thank you to I thank to Brajesh Singh also. He also joined as a technical help. He's a poet, but he helps in a Kritya as a technical help. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you,
Good
ma'am.
night.
बहुत अच्छा लगा.
Bye.
Bye,
See
bye.
you.
Good night.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you.